on Facebook.
Hello, I'm Denny Drake, County Commissioner, and I'm joined by our City Mayor, Paul Allwood, County Emergency Manager, Taylor Jans, Beetle County Sheriff, Doug Solom, and Huron Fire Chief, Ron Hines. Our local Emergency Planning Commission, LEPC, has been monitoring the COVID-19 situation since early January. The LEPC started forming formal meetings in February to discuss response plans for our community. On March 13th, the LEPC called together our community leaders and community health care representatives to brief them on the state and national COVID-19 condition. At this meeting, the county and city leadership activated the Unified Command Task Force to address the pandemic. By activating the Unified Command Task Force, we enabled a full-time team of experts from different fields and departments to focus on keeping our community prepared for anything this pandemic might bring. If you have questions directed to our task force, please direct them to any of your elected officials. Turn it over to Paul now.
Well, to start, I would like to pause for this brief message from our governor.
I'm Governor Kristi Noem. As South Dakotans, we all have a responsibility to flatten the curve and stop the spread of COVID-19. We can reduce exposure by practicing social distancing and good hygiene. That means wash your hands and stay home if you're sick. Together, we can lessen the impact of the virus on our state. We will get through this. South Dakotans are strong and resilient. For questions, visit covid.sd.gov.
That message, along with many other fantastic resources, are available on the South Dakota Department of Health website. We would like to encourage everyone to visit that site regularly. If you have questions about COVID-19, call the state helpline. The number is 1-800-997-2880. Locally, our team has been focusing on preparing to prevent the spread and keeping our community strong. With that, our state and federal leaders are looking to prevent spread as much as possible. You should be aware that the state has encouraged the closure of schools, libraries, and child care centers. This follows federal recommendations to avoid groups of 10 or more, social distancing, and elderly or high-risk populations to minimize their time in public. Denny, turn it over to you.
Our county has closed and reduced operations at our county courthouse and some other county services. We know that reducing our city and county services as well as others require social activity changes. Can be both frustrating and challenging for all. Although we are your community leaders, we are also your neighbors and are sharing in these frustrations and challenges with you. Please understand that these disruptions are necessary to keep our friends, family, and neighbors safe during these trying times. As a resource during this period of disruption, we have social media sources available, which includes the Beetle County COVID-19 Facebook page, Twitter at 19.beetle, and Instagram. Beetle County COVID-19 we will continue to provide regular updates for our community through our internet and external partners.
Yeah, Huron City leaders on Wednesday, March 19th, ordered all city facilities to be closed to the public at 12 p.m. We are going to continue services and still provide remotely when possible with information available on the city website and so also posted on doors of many of our city facilities. To help our community in moving forward, we would ask that all community employers to develop a plan and address operations and how to take care of your employees. Should further disruptions occur, we would like to encourage you to look for alternate ways to promote your businesses and deliver your important services to our community. I cannot stress it enough how important it is to take care of our employees during this troubled time. For those in our community looking to volunteer with any future community needs related to this pandemic, please go to Serve South Dakota, that's SERVSD, at volunteers.sd.gov. We sincerely appreciate your willingness to volunteer and patience during this pandemic. We now want to hear from some of our community stakeholders. I'm going to turn it over to Captain Mark Johnson for questions and answers from the community.
If you have questions, we encourage you to send an email to COVID-19@HuronSD.com. We'll answer some of these questions live as we go through this. The first question is going to be from Michelle S. Can the COVID-19 be transmitted on doorknobs, shopping carts, packaged food products, delivery packages like UPS, FedEx, and or mail and newspapers?
Yes, thanks for the question. It is possible that you can transfer or catch the disease from those items that you talked about. But for specifics, I would encourage you to go to CDC, the Center for Disease Control website, for specifics on every surface, how long that disease will last. And the website is cdc.gov.
Okay, our next questions, there's a few that are coming from the Dakota News Live, or excuse me, Dakota News Now. The first question would be, do you know if the cases are community spread or travel related?
Again, thank you for the question. For that information, we do not have that specific information, but for information of that type, you need to go to the Department of Health.sd.gov. That's the information from the state, and they would have that information for you.
All right, we'll go back to Dakota News Now. Had a question that came in, curious about if the city of Huron or Beetle County is gonna shut the doors on everything. They're wondering if they're gonna quarantine the people, and I guess they're concerned or curious about that.
We continue to look at the best way to keep our community safe. I know that's frustrating for everybody. Please visit our website for information about our service during this time.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Dakota News Now. Are the people related, connected to each other, the cases that we already have in Beetle County, the COVID-19 cases?
Again, thank you for the question. At this time, we do not have that information. For any of that type of information, you need to go to the Department of Health.sd.gov.
The next question from Dakota News Now, they're wondering if the cases that are in Beadle County are actually in Huron or if they're in a different community, and were they active in the community before they were actually diagnosed?
Yes, again, thank you for the question, but as we said before, we do not have that information. The Department of Health at southdakota.gov is the best way for you to get that information.
Okay. This question would kind of be for the commissioner and the mayor. How are local businesses as well as government or local government reacting to the COVID-19 cases in Beadle County?
Well, thanks again for that question. So far, we've had very good cooperation with the public and with our businesses. We continue to monitor the situation, and as the governor or the federal government issues more directives, we will be evaluating those from time to time. So again, keep checking on our websites for any new information.
I have a couple of questions from Ashley K. Are people that have been tested advised to quarantine until results are determined?
Yes, everybody that's been tested has been advised to quarantine, and that's all been taken care of by, again, the Department of Health at southdakota.gov has the answers for that.
This is kind of a follow-up question to that one. For those that have had contact with positive COVID-19 individuals, are they as well being told to quarantine if they don't even have symptoms?
Yes, that is the same answer, really. You need to either go to the Department of Health, .sds.gov, or call them, call us. We will try to help you with that answer.
And I know this kind of was touched in your initial opening to the press conference here. Is there a formal way for medical providers to volunteer for a task force if needed?
Yes, the answer to that is yes. The website to call is volunteers.sd.gov. Again, it's volunteer.sd.gov. And that's for all kinds of providers. Whatever your skill is, we will probably need help in that particular area.
You can also get a hold of any of your elected officials too, and let them know that you're willing to help too.
Okay. I have a couple questions that came over Facebook. They're asking about businesses that have over 100 employees. What should they do? Who should they contact? What are their...
I would assume something would come from the governor on that. We currently don't have the answer, but like I said, the governor will probably put out some information on businesses of over 100 employees.
Okay.
And if we hear anything about that, we can share it with you on our Facebook page.
Yeah, this is all new to us too, so we're in a learning curve ourselves, so just bear with us and we'll get the information out to you as quick as we can.
This question came in over Facebook Live as well. Should all businesses be shut down?
There has been no mandate yet on that particular issue. I know that it's being discussed, but there has been no decisions made. And if we hear of that and decide that needs to be done, it'll probably come from the state level. And we will pass the information on when we get it.
This question as well came from Facebook. Why are we only testing travel-related cases?
What was the question? I was not paying attention. I was trying to get Doug's mic to work there, so.
Why are we only testing travel-related cases right now?
You know, the Department of Health has their guidelines. They're following their best practices through the South Dakota Department of Health and the CDC guidelines. You know, any information, you know, we're asking you to check with the State Department of Health. The system limits are, you know, with the testing supplies. That's where, you know, they're trying to get the people that are at risk. So, you know, for our, you know, best practices, you know, following, you know, what the state guidelines, the nationwide, you know, they're having some, you know, limitations on supplies. You know, we're gonna check with the cdc.gov and, you know, the Department of Health at doh.sd.gov. You know, that's where we're getting our information, that's where we're getting our directives, so that's where we're recommending that everybody check that for best information. And following our Beetle County COVID Facebook page, our Twitter and Instagram followings.
Okay. This one came from Facebook as well. They're curious about the people who've tested positive. I guess it's kind of,
Well,
I think there's more interest in what's going on there.
yeah, I mean, all that information is available through the Department of Health at, you know, departmentofhealth.sd.gov. You know, it's not public knowledge who these people are. So, you know, I guess I would just say that, you know, your best shot is to go to the Department of Health and get that information.
This question came over from Facebook Live as well. How are we supposed to know if we have been in contact with someone if we don't know where they work? Kind of looking for some guidance or more information.
So if
on their-
all right, so if someone was tested through contact tracing, they're gonna, if they were tested and found positive, that information would be with the state of South Dakota. And then you would receive a phone call if your name was listed on there, and if you had contact with the positive coronavirus, you would be contacted by the state of South Dakota. So, you know, I would treat everybody right now as if they're infected. You need social distancing and wash your hands as many times as you can all the time.
Okay, this one came in from Ashley D. Is curious about, are you demanding all daycares to close, or is this advised, or is this something new as of today?
I don't think anyone has demanded any, I mean, that's for your own safety, you know, and it's all gonna come from the governor. If they want all daycare shut down, that would definitely come from the governor.
Okay. The next question is, I kind of got two similar ones to this. Do you have to wait for the state to make a decision on things, or are we able to decide as a community what's best for our community at this time? Or are we kind of waiting for that state guidance to maybe say we need to shut things down?
Well, as far as the city is concerned, we are taking action as we have done already, closing our buildings to the public. But we are taking direction from the federal government and also from our state government. And they are monitoring the situation day by day, and we are also doing the same. So there may be changes coming, but there may be not. We will try to do what is best to protect the public from this horrible disease.
And as far as shutting down, like we shut down the courthouse, we have to protect our employees too, so, that's the issue we're looking at right now. It's unknown, we don't know, so we're trying to protect our employees. We are still open to public, all our employees are working. You'd have to call each office to get in contact with them. You can do a lot of that stuff on the internet or on the phone too, so please do.
Okay. What is the city and county doing for preparedness?
Yeah, we're doing a lot for that right now, just by setting up our our LEPC, and, you know, the best thing to do is follow the Facebook page and Twitter for any details on that.
Taylor, maybe you had some more to add to that. We've been working on this for a long time with the LEPC, and
Yeah, we've been meeting since late February, or February 25th. We had our first meeting, and we do have things in mind of what we'd like to do and get out to the public. Right now, we don't have everything ready yet, but we are working. We do know that we have this, but we are working on something.
I see him writing some questions from Facebook, so if you have questions, go ahead and you can either stream them on Facebook Live, or we are monitoring the COVID-19 at HuronSD.com. If you want to send some questions in at this time. Okay, we do have, here we go, now they're all. All right, this was in regards to the press release that kind of went out yesterday, about it being a unique situation. Can you guys describe a little bit more about this unique situation in itself, that what we have in front of us?
Well, it's a difficult question, but I guess, yeah, this is definitely a unique situation. Probably no one in our lifetime has been through a situation like this, you know. It's basically, it's like we're at war against a virus, so that's what you need to do, is just take all the precautions and work hard to prepare yourself to maybe be quarantined, and, you know, better prepare yourself for washing your hands and social distancing if that's what it takes.
And I can touch on that, just trying to, the unique situation in itself of trying to stream this out to everybody while we're following CDC guidance inside this room, with trying to make sure we have our social distance, we have, you know, no more than 10 people in this room. It's unique. We can't just invite all the press in and everybody in a news conference like this, so. Okay. I have a question, why isn't the Department of Health here? We have the biggest number for the size of our community.
I guess that's a question you'd probably want to refer to the cdc.gov or the Department of Health. You know, the governor's probably working on that right now, and I would guess that should be answered in the near future.
I mean, with our cases that we've had in the Beetle County area, you know, we are working with the state. We're gathering information. We're sharing information. They are following up with our positive cases. So, as a task force, as a community, and with our LEPC, our Unified Command, we are in contact with the state of South Dakota and working on the best practices to get the information out to the people and keep us and the community safe.
Okay. This question asks, is there legal reprimand for those that have pending tests that have not self-quarantined? how can we be assured as the public we are safe and that people are self-quarantining themselves while results are pending?
Okay, so that's kind of a really hard question for us to answer. If you have any questions regarding, quarantine, social distancing, we encourage you to call the South Dakota hotline of 1-800-997-2880. Check the CDC website, cdc.gov. South Dakota Department of Health is doh.sd.gov. Those, and follow our Facebook pages. Those are what, we're getting our recommendations. That's we're following our guidelines to keep people safe and prevent the spread of the illness.
Yeah, worry about yourself first. Keep yourself yourself safe is what I was gonna say. Keep yourself safe.
Treat everyone else as if they have the virus. You're a distance away from everyone. Wash your hands.
This question is specific for Vito County. Do we know how many negative tests there have been?
Well, we've had 350 tests made. And, we come back with five or
350.
made 5 are positive, 350 negative.
350 negative.
350 negative tests out of that, and 5 positive, so,
Okay, we're getting a couple of questions about, do we know if this is community spread? We may have answered.
Yeah, I believe we answered that earlier. All the information can be found on the Department of Health website through the state. They update that every day with the negatives. They show how many tests are pending. That's the backlog in the state lab system. So any information that the state is providing can be found on that doh.sd.gov website. That's where we're gathering our information for a lot of our stuff, and that's where it's disseminated out to the public.
We just wanna let everybody know that's going on. We have our 5 spokespersons in front of the room, but we do have other experts with our medical field that are here working with us to make sure that we are getting the current information out to you. This question asked, what do you plan to do with people working retail?
Well, that again is going to be determined by the governor and what their recommendations are. As of right now, we're telling people to protect themselves and try to protect the city, protect customers. We ask that you take care of all of your employees if you can, and make sure that they are protected from the disease as much as possible. Again, follow those suggestions to social distance, wash your hands, and watch for the symptoms of the disease.
This one asks if you guys have a plan there in place. What is it?
Well, if you have any specific questions out there, again, we would like you to contact your elected leaders, and we will try to find out. If we do not know the answer, we will try to find out that answer for you. So again, all of the local leaders in town here, you have their numbers. Call the elected leaders and we can find that information for you.
question asks, do we have a test available in Huron right now?
Yes, testing is in process right now. But you know, our recommendation, if you feel that you need to be tested, call your local healthcare provider, your physician. You know, they will get your test either scheduled or give you guidance on your symptoms. But yes, we are currently testing in Beetle County, and you know, we just recommend call your healthcare provider, and if you have any questions.
Okay. This question seems like it is directed to the mayor. How many people need to get COVID-19 before shut down the city?
Well, that's a question that I don't have an answer for. We will continue to monitor the situation. We do not know exactly how many people have the COVID-19 in the city. Our information now is just by county. The information that's being let out to protect the identity of those who have the disease are by county only. We don't know how many there are in the city.
Okay. This question is from, it asks, what is the status on drive-through testing at Spec 9 building?
Everything that we're working on is still in process. We're working on getting some facilities in place. Hopefully soon we will have some more information to give to the public. Right now we're still recommending calling your healthcare provider, getting your tests you know, scheduled, and as we get more information, as our facility gets closer to up and running, we will let people know. And it'll be all through your healthcare provider. If you call your healthcare provider, they will give you the information that you need to know for the testing. And as we move forward with it, we are in the process of working with our healthcare field in Beetle County. We have a medical team in place. Everything is, you know, taking time, but it is a work in process. And as we get information, we will make sure that we get the people the info that they need so that they can get that out to the public.
And I would add to that, if you want to volunteer, again, go to the SD, or volunteers.sd.gov, or give any of the elected officials a call with your name and your capabilities. I mean, this whole thing's gonna take a lot of people to get through it, so it'd be in your best interest, if you can volunteer to help, to give us a call.
Next question, do you know how many tests have been sent into the state health lab from Beetle County?
Once again, you know, everything that we have for information is you have access to that same information on the South Dakota Department of Health website.
Okay. This question is, what is Huron doing today to combat it versus telling everyone to go to the website?
Well, I'd say it's not really necessarily a Huron problem, it's a personal problem. I mean, you need to do what you gotta do to stay safe, so go ahead and look at the website and take a look at it and do the best things take the best practices that they have and to remain safe. That's the best thing you can do.
And that's where we've gotten our guidance from.
And again, as Dennis stated when we started our conference today, we also have information here. You can go to Beetle County, the COVID-19 Facebook page, or you can go to Twitter at 19_Beetle and Instagram at Beetle County COVID.19. So there's some more resources for all of you to use. And again, you can contact your local elected officials.
Okay. I'm looking at my watch, just seeing where time is. For those that are watching on Zoom, we're probably getting close to our 40-minute time frame. I think we still have some questions to go. We'll keep streaming it live on Facebook. And then we will, once again, it'll be posted on Channel 6. We'll get it on the city and county websites. It is being recorded, so we will get it out to everybody. But we'll finish up with these questions here and go from there. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, bearing with us through this situation.
We'd like to correct, we only have 4 cases that are positive here at this time.
Okay. We'll work through these questions.
And we'd like to ask that you take care of your employees during this troubled time that we have. We appreciate everything that everybody's doing here.
I just wanna, before we get cut off by Zoom here, I wanna thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, we are gonna continue. We're working through our streaming options that are out there. This is completely uncharted territory for a lot of us, and we're just gonna keep everybody informed, keep watching those Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And questions can be sent to COVID-19@HuronSD.com, and we will continue on with our questions. I just want to put a little wrap in there for, in case Zoom times out on individuals here. But we are going to keep going, and we'll get this streamed live onto the city's website, Channel 6, and the county's website. This question asks, is the hospital prepared, and what steps have they taken?
Since we started the whole process, the hospital has been involved. Our healthcare providers in Beto County have been involved. So, you know, we're just asking, you know, people to take care of themselves, keep yourself, you know, safe, you know, with the social distancing, the hand washing. You know, our hospital is up and running. If we have the team in place, we have our task force, we have our unified command. If you have questions, you can call your healthcare provider, call the state 1-800 number, check with the Department of Health. This is a nationwide pandemic, so we are working the best that we can to keep our county and our city safe.
Okay. This question asks, can the town decide to quarantine without the governor deciding first?
Well, I believe we could if we wanted to, but we're trying to make sure that we're uniform in the way we attack this disease. And so we will probably take direction from the state on this.
What is the city, county, or /county doing to make sure people that don't have access to internet can get the information?
That's a real good question. It's hard to get a hold of everybody, and we're trying to put it in the paper, or the radio, through the internet. I don't know, we tried the smoke signals, but that didn't work. It got too windy today, so I don't know. We're trying everything we can, and I hope everybody just be patient with it.
I guess I can add to that from the PIO standpoint. We are working with our local media outlets, letting them know, making sure they have immediate access. I know that 1210 KOKK was going to stream it live, and the paper has also been paying attention to what's going on. So they're actually going to do a news article tomorrow. Okay. That one's been answered. So if this becomes community spread, what are the next steps for Beto County?
I guess if they identify that it is communal spread, we're gonna follow the recommendations from the Department of Health and the CDC. They are going to give us our direction, and we will, you know, put their plan in place. You know, similar to other plans that we've seen across the nation, we're gonna keep with the national preparedness goal and follow directions from our health officials.
This question asks, how long are the city and county closing their doors, or like their public access?
Well, as far as the city is concerned, our city commission has said that they will reevaluate as we go. So every week we meet, every time there should be a change, we will try to evaluate that and make the decision then.
Okay.
That's the same with the county. We're sitting in the same place. We're reevaluating it on a daily basis, actually. This is all new to us too, so bear with us.
How long are the people who test positive quarantined?
14 days. Again, go to the Department of Health website. They got everything there. I've been looking at it for days and hours, so you can go there, get about every answer to every question that you have.
Sheriff, you may have answered the next question here. Do we know how many people can be tested per day?
As of this time, we do not have that number, and I believe from listening to the governor that they are working on that daily, trying to get in, the ability for more testing. 90 was the last, number that we heard that they could test in a day.
This kind of goes, is there a medical team that is in place to address health questions as well? Which I guess I can touch on that. What we were working on is this was gonna be an initial press conference, and we were working on with our health leaders to come up and have a joint news release or press conference. We will keep everybody informed on when that's gonna be. We'll send it out on social media, paper, and radio. But if you do have questions, call your doctor in regards to the COVID-19. They will provide you direction on where you need to go and who you need to speak with and get you in the right direction if you are experiencing symptoms. So that is one of our goals for next week, is to try to get our health leaders involved in this process and have a joint news conference. This next question asks, when will we know if this is community spread? I guess how soon will, the Department of Health provide that information?
There's no way to know for sure, but as soon as the Department of Health does release those numbers to you or to us, we will make sure that we relay that information as soon as we get it.
And as the positive cases are coming back, as of right now, the Department of Health is investigating each case. They're doing follow-up information, questioning, and, they're updating that daily.
Okay. I'm just kind of looking around the room here, I think. All right, with that, I think we're gonna wrap things up right now. I'd like to thank everybody who was able to get in with us as far as streaming. Like I said, we are gonna broadcast this information out. I'm gonna ask, or turn it over to our county officials and city leaders for last thoughts.
Well, remember, if you want to volunteer, go to volunteer.sd.gov. We also have our Beetle County COVID-19 Facebook page. It's another place which will probably have links and information on there. And of course, as we mentioned it 100 times, the Department of Health DOH.sd.gov for the Department of Health in South Dakota.
I'd also like to add and thank everyone for the questions today and listening. I want to again make sure that you take care of your employers, for the employers out there, and also your neighbors. Watch your neighbors, wash your hands, but check on your neighbors and see if they need help also. Thanks everyone, and we'll try to keep you as informed as possible.
Thank you. Okay, that's a wrap.